Today, as we reflect over the theme of religious life of St.Therese of Child Jesus, I think it is one of the major theme for us to reflect, because as we observe the present day society, the alteration of the human values, the different value systems arising, and the religious life has losing its meaning and its beauty in the present day society. In this context, if we reflect over the theme of religious life of St.Therese of Child Jesus, it is very simple. In one word we can explain. For St.Therese of Child Jesus, it is a response to the love of Jesus. From early childhood onwards, St.Therese had a desire to become a saint. Very often, as you people just joined the seminary, whenever the fathers or any people come to ask you why you want to go to seminary, the immediate answer you give is, I want to become a priest, I want to become a father. That is your response. But once you become a father, your desire is fulfilled, your goal is accomplished. Then what is the meaning of the saying that I want to become a priest? But St.Therese did not say that I want to become a nun. I want to become a saint. And for you, the seminarians, my humble request is, your dream, your aim, or your goal is not to become a simple priest, to become a saintly priest, to become a saint. And to enter the religious life, it is a means to become a saint. It is quite natural if you ask me, can we have another way of life instead of becoming a religious to become a saint? I say it is, of course. But St.Therese found it is an easy way to become a saint. And it was her desire. Out of this desire, she joined the Carmelite convent. I will just share with you a small story that is of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. You might have heard about him. If you study the Indian history, you will come across the person, the Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He is known as one of the greatest men who had the vision of God. He claimed to be saying that I have seen God, and he had a direct vision with God. And it is everyone considered Sri Ramakrishna as the person with the God experience. In his life story, there is an incident. When he was a small child, he goes to a Kali temple just close to his house. Every day, when the early childhood, every day he goes to the church. Every day he goes to the temple. Even before the pujari comes and opens the temple, he was there. He was the first one enter the temple, and he was waiting for the pujari to come and open the temple. And in the evening, he is the last one to go out of the temple. The time about to go, the pujari will come and say, hey boy, the time is over. Now I am going to close the temple. So then he sent the child away. And every day evening, this Sri Ramakrishna, the small boy, say in the evening, my mother Kali, today also I did not have the God experience. When can I have the God experience? And that was the greatest desire of Sri Ramakrishna, to have God experience. And he continued this years and years, going to the Kali temple for the God experience. The same way, if you have the desire, one day your desire will come to true. That is the desire for St.Therese to love Jesus and to become a saint. That was the dream of St.Therese of Child Jesus. And for that, the easy way that St.Therese found was to enter the Carmelite convent and spend the time for Jesus. John Paul II, in his the message to the World Day of Vocation, he said, vocation of service is possible only when you realize that you are loved by God. And that is the core of our religious life, I would say. And that is what St.Therese also is showing us. The vocation of service is possible only when you feel that you are loved by Jesus. And our response, why we are here and what we are going to do, is a response to the love of Jesus. Jesus is loving me and I am giving a response. I am giving my life to Jesus. And St.Therese, he had a great experience in 1884. During the Christmas experience, the eve of the Christmas, she had the experience. Jesus is laying in the manger, suffering all the cold and everything is for me. And she could have the realization that it is the moment that Jesus is loving me. And Jesus, St.Therese would look at the flowers. We say, how beautifully everything is made for me. The way Jesus is loving me. And in everything, she could found that Jesus is loving me. And our religious life is a response to God's love. And my dear brothers, only when you realize that you are loved, when you look at your life experience, the way you are born and brought up, if you could find out the God's experience of love, how God was protecting me. If I say about my life, and I had to go through all the troubles and the difficulties in my life, and when I realized now, I could find that it is the God's love for me, how God was carrying me, how God was loving me throughout the life experience. That was the moment that we experienced the God's love for me. And my dear friends, and the St.Therese had the clear clarity of her vision and mission. When she entered the religious life, she was quite sure that what am I to do, how am I to do, and she was quite sure that the way she was supposed to live. And that was the clarity of mission and vision Jesus, St.Therese had. If you look at the life of Jesus, Jesus had a mission. And Jesus, what was the motivating force for Jesus also? The same. Jesus, when Jesus received baptism, the voice of the Father was heard. This is my Son with whom I am well pleased. The moment that Jesus realized that I am loved by Father, I am the beloved Son of the Father, that was the loving experience of Jesus. And that was the motivating force for Jesus to do his mission. And throughout his life journey, Jesus also could say, what am I to do? I am supposed to fulfill the will of my Father. So that was the motivating force. And Jesus was clear about his vision and mission. And in the case of St.Therese, once she was clear about her vision and mission, nothing was affecting her. It is an individual response. It is not a collective response that we give to Jesus. It is an individual call. The call that you received is an individual, not a collective. Even recently, I had a talk with one of my friend who was with me in the seminary, and he left the seminary after third year. And now he was regretting, and he was telling me, I really wanted to become a priest. Because of my friends, because of my prayer group pressure, I left and I went for studies. My dear brothers, your vocation is an individual call to Jesus, to love Jesus, to become a saint. And if you follow the footsteps of others, if you follow the prayer group pressure, and you will not reach anywhere. If you personally experience that Jesus is loving me and Jesus is calling me, then I am giving a response to Jesus' call. Then my life become meaningful, my religious life become happy, and we can enjoy the religious life. And very often when we talk about the St.Therese and suffering, we could say that St.Therese has suffered a lot because of so many problems, ailments, and because of the community she suffered a lot. I would say St.Therese did not suffer. St.Therese loved. All the difficulties, problem, everything for her, it was an occasion to love Jesus. And when you enter the religious life, if you are clear about your vision and mission, then the troubles and the difficulties, it will not be a matter for you. Very often, if you are not clear about your vision and clear about your occasion, you look at, you say, what is going on in the media and what is the rumors that you hear from about the priests and the religious. That is not a matter for you. But what is matter for you is my relation with Jesus. So I am giving a response to this one, God's invitation to love. And the brother has rightly mentioned during the introduction part, the St.Therese, how she entered the Carmelite convent, and within the four walls, how she became famous and how she went beyond the boundaries of the convent and beyond the limitedness of four walls. And my dear friends, as my experience, I would say the religious life is the best way of life if we really love Jesus and we can go beyond all the limitations. And that is the way that we can enjoy the freedom of the children of God. Recently, I had an interview in Nepal, and once our school was declared as the best school, and there was 2-3 interviews were there. And one of the striking point, it was like this. The one who was giving the interview asked me, "Father, are you happy?" Then I said, "I am happy. I am perfectly happy. I am always happy, perfectly happy." And again, continuously he was asking, "You are not married, you are living a single life, then are you happy? You have no friends?" Like that, so many questions they are asked. Then I said, "I am really happy." And finally, the one who was giving the interview said, "You are happy because you never got married. You are happy because you have no concern for money. You have no attachment with money. You have no attachment with the relations. You have no attachment with the power and position." My dear friends, once we enter the religious life, that is the beauty of religious life, the freedom that you enjoy. Nothing to worry about the money, the relation, but only our focus on Jesus, to love Jesus more than anybody else. And that will become, that is the key point. That is what we say, the vocation of St.Therese, in one word we can say, it is love. The first thing is to experience the love of God, and second one is to return that love, that is loving others. And my dear brothers, as we reflecting over the theme of religious life, let us pray earnestly that we may have the love experience. We may deeply experience the love that God has given, and to try to give a response that is fitting for the love that we received. So during the days of novena, let us reflect along with the St. Therese of Child Jesus how much God loved me, and reflecting over the different life experience, let us give a response to God's love.